When you cross the threshold into your 60s, something profound happens. It is not simply another birthday, nor is it just the steady ticking of the clock. Instead, it's a subtle but powerful transformation in how you view life, relationships, and, most importantly, your own well-being. Suddenly, peace becomes priceless. Health is no longer something you take for granted, but a treasure you fiercely protect. And above all, your time, so easily given away in younger years, becomes sacred. You have likely spent decades playing multiple roles: caregiver, provider, problem solver, and emotional anchor for your family. You've been there for your children, your siblings, your parents, and even distant relatives. But as you stand in this new phase of life, a crucial question rises. Who is standing for you? Family, as much as we wish it were always a source of comfort, can sometimes be one of the biggest sources of stress and emotional turmoil. We seldom talk about it openly because family is supposed to be sacred. We feel obligated to tolerate, forgive, and give endlessly, even when it slowly chips away at our own peace of mind. And yet, if you are not vigilant, the very people you love can inadvertently, or sometimes intentionally, become drains on your emotional, mental, and even physical well-being. The reality is uncomfortable, but it is real. Not every relative brings light into your life. Some bring storms. As you age, it's not just your physical health that requires careful attention, but your emotional landscape as well. Stress, manipulation, and unrelenting demands from toxic relatives can silently erode your happiness, compromise your health, and steal the precious years you worked so hard to enjoy. You may recognize some of these people already. The drama queens who turn every minor issue into a hurricane. The money leeches who see your retirement savings as their personal ATM. The know-it-alls who constantly belittle your decisions. The guilt-trippers who master the art of emotional blackmail. The toxic caretakers who slowly strip away your independence under the guise of help. And the perfect image relatives who make you feel inadequate despite all your life's achievements. These aren't distant characters in a storybook. They may be people who sit across from you at holiday dinners or call you every week. Their impact is real, and their presence, if left unchecked, can turn your golden years into years of regret, fatigue, and quiet resentment. But here's the empowering truth. You have the power to protect your peace. You have earned the right to choose who gets access to your emotional world. And while setting boundaries may feel uncomfortable at first, it is a critical act of self-respect and self-preservation. Because the final chapters of your life should not be written by those who drain you but by you, full of joy, wisdom, serenity, and the deep satisfaction of living on your own terms. In this video, we will walk together through the 6 types of relatives you must be cautious of after 60. I will not only help you recognize them, but also offer practical strategies to shield yourself without severing the bonds of family entirely. This is not about cutting people off recklessly. It is about choosing peace, maintaining your dignity, and reclaiming the golden years you have worked so hard to reach. Type 1, the drama queen relative, the storm you no longer need to weather. In every family, there seems to be that one relative who transforms every minor inconvenience into a full-blown catastrophe. A broken vase becomes a tragedy, a late reply to a message signals betrayal, and a small misunderstanding escalates into a family crisis. This person is the drama queen, and if you are over 60, your tolerance for this exhausting performance must be re-evaluated for the sake of your health and happiness. The drama queen feeds on attention, conflict, and emotional chaos. She thrives in an environment where emotions run high and conflicts multiply. Initially, you may have excused this behavior as just part of who they are, believing that family comes with imperfections. But with the passing years, you've likely noticed the cumulative toll their constant crises take on your mental and emotional well-being. Science backs up what your intuition already tells you. Chronic emotional stress is a silent killer. Studies have linked long-term exposure to stress to high blood pressure, heart disease, weakened immune function, and even cognitive decline. For seniors, these health threats are magnified, turning each emotional storm into a serious risk. Imagine carrying around an emotional backpack filled with every argument, every accusation, every guilt trip, every dramatic outburst. Day by day, it grows heavier until it saps your joy, your energy, and even your desire to spend time with loved ones. This is not the retirement you deserve. The wisdom of age offers a critical truth. Not every battle needs to be fought, and not every storm deserves your shelter. As Marcus Aurelius wisely said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." You cannot control your relatives' need for drama, but you can absolutely control how much of your emotional space you allow them to occupy. The key is in setting firm boundaries. When the drama queen attempts to pull you into another emotional tornado, resist the urge to engage. Politely disengage from conversations that spiral into melodrama. Do not feed the fire with rebuttals, explanations, or emotional reactions. Instead, keep your responses calm, brief, and neutral. "I hear you, but I won't argue about this," or "Let's talk about something more pleasant." This is not cruelty, this is self-care. Engaging with constant drama does not resolve problems, it perpetuates them. By refusing to participate, you deny the drama queen her audience, and without an audience, the performance loses its power. Furthermore, choose your environment carefully. Limit how often you interact with this person if their presence consistently leaves you drained. When you must engage, do so in neutral settings, preferably with others present, where drama is less likely to escalate unchecked. Surround yourself instead with people who respect your peace, uplift your spirit, and celebrate your journey. Retirement should be your time to enjoy tranquility, to cultivate joy, and to live with the serenity you've earned. You've weathered many storms in life. Now is the time to choose sunshine over thunderclouds. Type 2. The Money Leech Relative. When generosity becomes a trap. Reaching your golden years should be a time of peace, stability, and the quiet satisfaction of seeing your life's hard work finally pay off. You have likely spent decades building a financial foundation, saving, investing, and planning, with the hope that one day you could enjoy your freedom without worry. But for some, that long-awaited financial peace is under constant threat from within the family itself, specifically from the money leech relative. This type of relative always seems to be in crisis mode. An unexpected bill, a failed business venture, a temporary job loss. There's always something that justifies another request for financial help. In the beginning, you probably offered your support without hesitation. Family helps family after all. But what starts as occasional assistance often morphs into a recurring expectation. Every phone call, every visit, every message begins to carry the same underlying theme. "I need more money." The emotional manipulation that often accompanies these requests can be deeply unsettling. Statements like, "I thought you cared about me," or "You know I'd do the same for you," are designed to pierce your defenses and make refusal feel like betrayal. Over time, you may find yourself trapped, giving not out of genuine desire, but out of guilt and obligation. Here is the painful truth many seniors face. Generosity without boundaries is not kindness, it is self-sacrifice. You spent a lifetime earning your retirement savings. Your pension, your investments, your nest egg, they are not bottomless. And unlike your working years, you are no longer actively replenishing those funds. Every dollar handed over to someone else is a dollar that will not support your own healthcare, your own needs, or your own well-deserved enjoyment of life. Consider the story of Robert, a kind-hearted retiree who worked for 40 years to secure his future. His younger brother, Kevin, constantly faced one financial emergency after another: business failures, rent shortages, unexpected medical bills. Out of love and duty, Robert always stepped in. But by the time he was 75, his savings had been drained, his travel dreams erased, and Kevin had simply moved on to find other sources of money. Robert's generosity, though noble, ultimately led to bitterness and regret. The solution is not to harden your heart, it is to strengthen your boundaries. Offering guidance, emotional support, or job referrals is still helping. But when it comes to money, it is vital to adopt a policy of clarity and firmness. A simple but powerful response like, "I am not in a position to offer financial assistance, but I can help you explore other options," creates a boundary that protects both your relationship and your financial security. It's also crucial to remember that not every financial hardship is truly an emergency. Some relatives use your soft heart as a safety net for their own irresponsible choices. By consistently bailing them out, You may actually enable their poor decisions rather than encourage accountability and growth. Retirement is meant to be enjoyed, not burdened by the weight of someone else's mistakes. Protect your resources, protect your peace, and most importantly, protect your ability to live independently without fear or regret. As Stoic wisdom teaches, you cannot control the actions of others, but you can absolutely control how much you allow their actions to affect your life. You worked for this freedom. You deserve to keep it. Type 3. The always-right relative. The erosion of your confidence. One of the most insidious emotional drains in family life comes not from overt conflict, but from the quiet, persistent undermining of your confidence. This is the hallmark behavior of the always-right relative, the one who believes they hold the answers to everything, from your health decisions to your finances, your relationships, and even your daily routines. In their eyes, your decades of life experience somehow count for little compared to their self-perceived superior knowledge. Every conversation becomes a subtle debate, every choice you make is questioned, and every personal story you share is met with unsolicited advice, condescension, or outright dismissal. At first, you might tolerate this behavior. After all, family dynamics are complex and no one wants to ignite unnecessary conflict. You may brush it off with humor or convince yourself that they mean well. But over time, something much deeper begins to occur. Self-doubt creeps in. Slowly, you may find yourself questioning your own judgment, hesitating on decisions, or even second-guessing simple preferences. This erosion of confidence is not harmless. For seniors, maintaining mental sharpness, self-assurance, and a sense of independence is critical for both emotional well-being and cognitive health. Studies have shown that chronic self-doubt and emotional invalidation contribute to anxiety, depression, and can even accelerate cognitive decline. As you navigate your golden years, you need advocates, not critics. You need people who respect your choices, support your autonomy, and celebrate the wealth of wisdom you've gathered. The always-right relative, however, operates under the guise of helping while slowly stripping away your sense of self. Consider this. If every suggestion you make is countered, every decision is questioned, and every success is minimized, how long before you start believing that you're incapable? This type of psychological erosion is far more dangerous than it appears on the surface. The solution lies in two critical actions: boundary setting and emotional detachment. You cannot change their need to feel superior, but you can control your response. When they offer their opinions, acknowledge politely without absorbing the message. "Thank you for your perspective, but I'm confident in my decision." Or simply, "I appreciate your concern, but I've made my choice." By calmly asserting your boundaries, you affirm your autonomy without engaging in endless debates. If necessary, limit the time you spend around them, particularly during sensitive decision-making periods when their opinions may seed unnecessary doubt. It is also important to mentally reframe their behavior. Recognize that their constant need to be right often stems from their own insecurities, not from any actual superiority over you. Their words do not define your worth or your capability. Your life story is rich with experiences, triumphs, and lessons hard-earned through years of living. You do not need validation to confirm your wisdom. You have already proven yourself through a lifetime of decisions, responsibilities, and achievements. In your later years, your peace of mind must take priority over the endless need to defend yourself against unjustified criticism. Surround yourself with those who value your insights, who listen without judgment, and who honor the dignity you have earned. Type 4. The Guilt-Trip Relative. The Master of Emotional Manipulation. Among the most exhausting types of relatives you may encounter after 60 is the guilt-trip relative, a master manipulator who wields guilt like a sharpened blade. Unlike direct conflict or loud criticism, guilt is subtle, silent, and far more dangerous because it masquerades as love. This relative knows exactly which emotional buttons to press. They remind you of everything they've ever done for you, every sacrifice they made, every favor they granted. Their message is clear: you owe me. When you hesitate to meet their demands, they sigh deeply, look wounded, and say things like, "After everything I've done for you, how can you say no?" or I guess I just don't matter to you anymore. It's a deeply unfair position. On one hand, you feel obligated because family history and emotional bonds carry weight. On the other, you know that continually sacrificing your own happiness to appease their demands is unsustainable and harmful. Here is the brutal reality. When you allow guilt to dictate your choices, you are handing control of your life to someone else. Over time, this emotional debt piles up. You find yourself saying yes when you want to say no, taking on responsibilities you no longer have the energy for, and neglecting your own needs to avoid conflict. Resentment builds quietly in your heart, draining your joy and poisoning the relationship itself. Even worse, as this pattern continues, the guilt-trip relative becomes emboldened. They recognize your weakness for obligation and continue to push boundaries, always expecting more. The result: you become trapped in a cycle of self-neglect, exhausted by demands you never agreed to, yet feel unable to refuse. It is important to understand that setting boundaries is not selfish. It is an act of self-respect. You are not responsible for managing another adult's happiness or emotional state. Their well-being is their responsibility, not yours. When faced with guilt trips, neutral but firm communication is your shield. You do not need to argue, explain, or defend yourself. A simple, clear response like, "I'm not able to do that," or "I have to prioritize my health and peace right now," is enough. If they continue to push, remain calm and repeat your boundary. Their disappointment is not your burden to carry. Consider the wisdom of Marcus Aurelius. You have power over your mind, not outside events. The guilt only works if you allow it to enter your mind and take root. By refusing to absorb it, you preserve your freedom. Also remember, love is not a transaction. Real love is given freely, without strings attached. If someone uses love as leverage, it is manipulation, not love. At this stage of life, your happiness is no longer a debt to repay. You have given much, sacrificed much, and earned the right to live peacefully, choosing how you spend your time, energy, and emotions. The guilt trip. Relative may not understand this, but you must. You've carried others for decades, now you have full permission to carry yourself. Type 5. The Toxic Caretaker. Relative, when help becomes a cage. This type of relative may be the most surprising of all, because their intentions often seem kind on the surface. They do not shout, they do not criticize, they do not openly demand. In fact, they present themselves as the most helpful person in your life, always ready to assist with errands, drive you to appointments, manage your medications, and make decisions for your own good. But beneath this gentle appearance lies a far more dangerous threat: the slow erosion of your independence. This is the toxic caretaker relative. Unlike the others, this relative's weapon is not guilt, conflict, or money. It is control disguised as care. They genuinely may believe they are helping you, but slowly and subtly, they begin to take over decisions you used to make for yourself. At first, their assistance feels like a blessing. They offer to handle your bills, organize your doctor's appointments, cook your meals, even decide who you should or should not socialize with. Slowly, you find yourself asking for permission to do things you once handled with ease. Little by little, your voice becomes smaller in your own life. The most dangerous part? This loss of autonomy often happens so gradually that you hardly notice it. The toxic caretaker may say things like, "It's better if I handle this for you. It's too complicated." Or, "You do not need to stress about these decisions anymore. I've got it covered." They might even scold you gently for trying to do things on your own. "Uncle, you should not be walking up the stairs without me." "Auntie, let me pick your doctor. I know what's best." Over time, this narrative begins to take root in your mind. You start to believe that maybe they are right, that perhaps you are no longer capable of managing your own affairs. And this is where the true danger lies, losing not only your independence but also your self-confidence. Consider the story of Samuel, a dignified man who raised a family, built a career, and made countless decisions throughout his life. When he turned 75, his niece moved in to help. At first it was small things, but over the years she slowly took control of his finances, healthcare decisions, and personal routines. Eventually, Samuel found himself living under someone else's rules, his own voice silenced in his golden years. And the worst part? It was all done in the name of love. Control wrapped in love is still control. The solution is not to reject help entirely. As we age, assistance is sometimes necessary and even wise. But healthy help respects your autonomy. The right kind of assistance empowers you to make your own choices, supports your independence, and steps in only where you request or need help. To protect yourself, start by recognizing the signs. Do you feel you need permission for basic decisions? Are others constantly dismissing your choices? Do they suggest that you're incapable, even when you're perfectly competent? If you answer yes, it's time to set firm boundaries. Communicate clearly. I appreciate your help, but I want to continue making my own decisions. I value your support, but I still wish to manage my affairs as much as possible. In more severe situations, you may need professional guidance, an unbiased third party such as a financial advisor, healthcare advocate, or legal counselor, to ensure your rights remain protected. Your golden years are not meant to be lived under someone else's authority. You have spent a lifetime making hard choices, overcoming challenges, and proving your competence. Do not allow anyone, no matter how well-meaning, to steal the dignity of self-direction from you. As Stoic wisdom teaches us, he who controls himself is free. Your independence is not a luxury, it is your birthright. Type 6. The perfect image relative, the subtle pressure that steals your peace. Not every toxic relationship screams at you. Some quietly whisper. Some never openly criticize, never demand your money, never question your choices out loud. Yet they still leave you feeling inferior, inadequate, or behind. This is the work of the perfect image relative, the family member who, whether consciously or not, radiates perfection while subtly draining your confidence. You know the type. Their life seems flawless. Their home is spotless like a showroom. Their children are brilliant and accomplished. Their vacations resemble travel documentaries. Their social media is a perfectly curated highlight reel of success, wealth, and picture-perfect happiness. Every family gathering becomes a stage where they present their latest achievement. Their child's acceptance to an Ivy League university, their luxury trip abroad, the promotion they just received, the glowing praise they receive from others. The unspoken message they deliver is simple, but poisonous. Look how perfect my life is. What have you done lately? At first glance, it might not even seem like a problem. After all, everyone has the right to share good news, but the problem arises when their constant display of perfection triggers quiet comparison within you. The trap is not what they say, but how it makes you feel. Without even realizing it, you start questioning whether you've done enough, whether you've succeeded enough, whether you measure up. Comparison is a silent thief of joy, especially after 60, when you should be celebrating your life's journey, embracing the wisdom and experiences you've gathered, and living with peace, not measuring yourself against someone else's highlight reel. What many fail to realize is that perfection is an illusion. What you see is only the carefully edited surface, not the full reality. Behind closed doors, their lives contain struggles, disappointments, and insecurities just like anyone else. But they've mastered the art of appearances, often for reasons rooted in their own deep need for validation. The danger of prolonged exposure to the perfect image relative is not their achievements, it is how easily you begin to diminish your own. You may start dismissing your incredible life experience, your years of raising a family, your hard-earned wisdom, simply because it does not look glamorous on the surface. To break free from this quiet toxicity, you must anchor yourself in gratitude and perspective. Remind yourself daily, you have lived a life filled with real accomplishments, not measured by luxury, but by resilience. Your worth is not tied to material success, but to the love you've given, the lessons you've learned, and the legacy you continue to build. It's important to reclaim your narrative. Surround yourself with people who value depth over appearances, substance over show. Limit exposure to those who trigger unnecessary comparison. And most importantly, shift your internal dialogue. I am proud of the life I've built. I measure my success by my peace, my love, and my wisdom, not by someone else's stage show. Denzel Washington once wisely said, "Don't aspire to make a living, aspire to make a difference." Real fulfillment isn't found in flaunting perfection, it's found in quiet contentment. In your golden years, the race is over. Now is the time to savor, to reflect, to live authentically, free from the exhausting weight of comparison. Reaching your 60s is not the beginning of decline, it is the beginning of wisdom. After decades of sacrifice, hard work, raising families, and overcoming countless personal and professional challenges, you arrive at a chapter of life that should finally belong to you. A time not of servitude to others, but of serenity for yourself. But here's the difficult truth. Even in these precious years, not everyone around you will automatically respect that peace. As we have seen, there are many forms of toxicity that can quietly invade your golden years. The drama queen relative who thrives on chaos, the money leech relative who drains your finances, the always-right relative who chips away at your confidence, the guilt-trip relative who manipulates your emotions, the toxic caretaker, relative who slowly steals your independence, and the perfect image relative who fuels your insecurities through comparison. None of these people may intend to harm you directly. Many truly believe they are helping, or that their behavior is simply how family works. But good intentions do not always result in healthy outcomes. Toxic patterns, even if subtle, accumulate over time, and they rob you of what matters most: your peace, dignity, and joy. What makes this even more challenging is that many seniors feel obligated to tolerate these behaviors in the name of family loyalty. We are taught to endure, to forgive, to sacrifice. And while forgiveness is virtuous, self-sacrifice without boundaries is dangerous. You've already spent a lifetime giving. Now you must also allow yourself to receive rest, joy, freedom, and self-respect. Boundaries are not walls. They are doors. Doors you control. Doors that allow in love but shut out manipulation. Doors that welcome genuine support but block emotional exhaustion. Doors that protect your independence while still allowing relationships to thrive in a healthy way. Setting boundaries is not rejection, it is protection. And perhaps the most beautiful truth of aging is this: you no longer have anything to prove. You have already lived, loved, lost, learned, and triumphed. You have made mistakes, as we all do, and grown wiser because of them. You have nothing left to chase, only everything to enjoy. In these precious years, choose carefully where your energy goes. Give your time to people who uplift you. Share your wisdom with those who truly value it. Protect your mental space from those who drain you. And most importantly, honor yourself for the life you've built. You hold the pen. You write the rest of your story. Let that story be one of peace, confidence, and dignity. A legacy not of exhaustion, but of wisdom and quiet joy. You have earned it. You deserve it. Now live it.